Hi there, welcome to the Gardens and Graveyard channel. My name is Charisma and today we're meeting outside of the greenhouse. Excuse the noise going on, Spencer's doing some cleaning up in the garage. But I wanted to get out here and clean up the greenhouse because we are going to be picking up all of our summer annuals in just a couple of weeks and I need to make room. I like to buy my annuals earlier than they are ready to be planted out because I want a big selection. I do not work with any like breeder of, oh, and now my neighbor's doing some construction. Okay, let's see if I can step in here and be a little bit more quieter. It also makes my voice sound all weird and echoey, but whatever. I don't work with any specific breeder of plants, but I really love using Proven Winter annuals in my garden. So far, they are hands down the best performing annuals that I grow. I've tried lots of different annuals throughout my life in different regions, but here on the Oregon coast, they just perform so beautifully that I'm a huge advocate for them. And so I will be picking up my summer annuals in a couple of weeks, and I want a big selection of the plants that I want. So I like to buy them early, even though I won't plant them out until the end of April, early May. Like Mother's Day is kind of my go-to time for planting those, but St. Patrick's Day is kind of my go-to time to buy them. Anyhow, I've got a lot of tender perennials here in the greenhouse right now that I need to move around so that I can make space for those. And I need to make room for the dahlias that we started from seed that are currently in my dining room at the seed starting station. We are getting ready to divide all of our snapdragons, which there are dozens and dozens. I'm so excited. We're going to be doing that here really soon. And then they will be coming out here pretty quickly. I'll probably divide them and leave them underneath the lights for maybe one more week just to let their roots settle, and then they're going to come out here. So I need to just make space for all the seedlings because I also have another round of seedlings that I need to get started because I need to get zinnias and marigolds going. I did winter sow a few of those. They're doing okay. Half of them are up and half of them are not. So I don't know what the deal with that is. Maybe it's just different varieties. However, I need space for my seed trays inside. And I need space in here to add all of my annuals and the seeds that are going to be coming out here. Just as a little reminder of what things are looking like in here. I have some pre-sprouted ranunculus that I actually think I'm just going to pull them out right now and plant them in these containers here because I have close to 200 of them in this bed, and they're just starting to come up, little itty bitties. But just to get these out of the greenhouse, as you could see the difference between sprouting them in the greenhouse, and they're 7 inches tall, although there's still a few that are coming up a little bit late, so I don't know. And then in this raised bed, they're only, an inch or so tall. So it does make a difference growing things in the greenhouse. It's really interesting to watch that stark difference. Anyway, besides that, I have all of these begonias that are going to go into the moon garden that I'm holding over. They will overwinter in my garden, but I wanted to move them from the location they were in. And so they got moved into here until I could get them back into the garden. They did get a little bit more winter damage in them than previous years because we had a really cold, a cold snap. But they're looking okay. I just think that if I have them on trays, I'm going to be able to move them around a lot easier. We have a few different other plants. We've got some Barcopa up here. We've got verbenas. and more of the begonias. Man, this one really got hit with the cold, and that one died. But most of them are looking pretty good. They're struggling of tiny, but not bad. And then I have a bunch of this, what do you call it? Dichondra Silver Falls. I really don't think that they're going to bounce back, but I am going to go ahead and clean them up and, you know, take off all the dead foliage, just cut them and leave the roots in there and see what happens. I'm going to put them outside and hope for the best. I need to start opening this window or the flap because I'm getting mold on all of my plants. So that needs to happen as well. I basically just want to put everything on trays, and anything that can go outside, I'm going to kind of pot together and put outside. I'll probably just put them alongside here if I can squeeze them in, along with our winter sowing, just to get them out of the greenhouse for the ones that I know will survive. We are staying in the mid-50s to lower 40s, like mid-50s in the daytime and lower 40s at nighttime. So all of these tender perennials can technically be outside at this point. I just don't have all the infrastructure put together in the moon garden just yet, but that is coming. Spencer has been painting my raised beds, so I'll be able to get those put back in the moon garden, and the majority of these plants are going to be planted in the moon garden. So that will be happening soon. But for right now, I just want to make space for what's to come. I'm taking all of these cuttings that were in these little individual squares. I'm pulling them out. You can see there's a little bit of root activity. I'm just putting them all in a container together to consolidate. They were all cuttings from this plant. And so you could see that there weren't very many that took. But you know when they do take, because you've got a little bit of green foliage right there that hasn't turned the dusty color yet. And there's a little bit of root action going there. So we just want to make sure that there's space in each one of those holes. And you don't want to disturb the roots too much. But clearly all of this is wasted space and it's staying too moist. There's mold growing on all of it. So this, well, and the other way you know is not only does it have new foliage, but it's still nice and perky. Otherwise it would have just dried up and there'd be nothing there at this point. So then I can just get rid of this tray and this will just go in the compost. And here is a little update on autumn joy sedums. So I had put some autumn joy sedums in a little bit of water to dry. Most of them dried, but a few stems started sprouting. So I laid them down horizontally like this in some soil and just kept it moist. And you can see I've got all of these little plants. Well, some of them. So it's still an ongoing experiment, but kind of fun. I'm just gonna set them in here to get them out of the way. They were on the floor. All right. All right, so I've brought my dahlias from inside out here, and I'm gonna put them in this tray. You can see some of them have multiple plants in them. Getting a little spindly under the artificial light. I'm hoping that they'll kind of get stronger out here. And I'm trying to think of how you do this. Like this. And make sure they have plenty of room to grow. So there we go. And I also have a little bit of honeywort, so I'll just go ahead and put that here. And these guys can just hang out in their 6-packs for a little while longer. I need to mess with those just yet. All right. And by the time I buy my annuals, I'll be able to put all of these outside. And technically I could put them outside now, but since I have room, I'm going to leave them in and let them be protected as long as possible. So let's go ahead and go through these really quick. I've got the double up white begonias, and you saw me clean them up a little bit. They are really easy to clean up, and these plants do what's called burying the dead. So the new foliage comes up and it covers any of this like dead foliage. So it doesn't have to be perfectly cleaned up. I was mostly trying to make sure that there was plenty of airflow because I was getting a lot of mold and mildew happening. And I'll probably do a little bit more cleanup when I put them out into the landscape. Just depends on what each plant looks like. All right, so then back here, I didn't do any cleanup on this as I forgot what these are called, ice plant. This one is moonstone. It's white. It'll also go in the moon garden. I do have a little bit of feverfew right back here. That's just overwintered in the garden, in the greenhouse here. I've got a couple of succulents that I want to do a little project with here soon, but for now they're fine. I cut back all of the Dichondra Silver Falls. Everything feels really strong still, and the stems were like juicy, so I feel like they're alive. They're just dormant. So I'm going to leave them in here and let them hopefully just flush back. A few more of the begonias. These are all the dahlias. These are dahlias from Floret. And these are, I believe, the unicorn mix? Shooting star mix. So they're all going to be relatively the same size, but they'll all be different colors and different shapes, which I'm really excited about. And then, of course, I've got the honeywort, which I don't know if it's great to start these as seeds. I usually just start them in the garden, and they do great. But, you know, everything's an experiment. More begonias. Dusty Miller. Dusty Miller is a temperennial for me. It sometimes will overwinter in the garden, sometimes will not. So I brought it in here. All of these plants, the Dichondra Silver Falls, which if you're not familiar with that, they are a cascading, kind of like a ground cover that are beautiful in hanging baskets. So I'm going to have the dark foliage begonia, the Silver Falls, and the Dusty Miller will all go in containers together. This is a Superbena cashmere pink. It's a beautiful baby pink color. This is a Superbena, I think, fuchsia. I think that's a fuchsia one, and I have another fuchsia one here. It just got done flowering in the greenhouse. This is bright pink color. And then I've got some white Barcopa, and then this is also a double up begonia. I thought I had lost it, but when I cut it back a little bit, you could see little baby leaves. So I think we'll be fine. It'll come back in the spring. As soon as it starts heating up, it'll look just beautiful. I did find a giant slug in here, so that's probably a little bit of a problem that I was having with this one. I thought it looked like slug damage when I was out here the other day. I did a little bit of cleanup on my autumn trailing fuchsia. I cut back this flowering maple. I've never cut back this maple before, so I don't really know what to expect or what it really wants. I read that if you cut it and help it get branchy and bushy, it likes it. But it's been flowering for months and months. It just got done flowering. As a matter of fact, there were just mildewy flowers on it just a minute ago. So, and I mean, you can see like there's a little bud right here. So what I did is I tapped it off and I just popped 3 stems in the soil to see if they will root in. It would be great if they did and I could get a nice big bushy plant. If not, you know, no loss, I suppose. This is the Pendacetum. This is the Proven Winners. Did I keep a tag? I don't think so. I'll pop the picture up on the screen, but you can see it's got a bunch of green foliage here. This is new growth, and then when it fully fleshes out, it's this dark burgundy purple color. It's looking really good. I think it lasted over the winter, so I'm excited about that I can put this back in the garden as an established plant. I keep buying it as a little grande, which are the Proven Winners. This is the grande cup. This, of course, is not a Proven Winners plant, but they are fabulous size cups to sprout seeds in. Anyhow, I keep buying it at that size and leaving it in the garden, and they don't survive. So I brought this one inside, potted it up, and it's looking really good. So I'm hopeful. I also have I have 3 of the Sun Credibles. This is the Proven Winners sunflower, and I read that they come back in my climate. I just didn't want them to be where I had them located last year. So I'm hoping that they did winter over and I'll get to plant them back out come spring. I have a couple of empty trays here, just kind of in preparation, but there's an empty space. And once I do start getting annuals from most likely Godfrey's nursery, I can take all of these out. All of the begonias and the Dusty Miller can all come out of here and be put out in the garden. Even if I don't get it planted, I can just pop them out in the garden. The other thing that I did is I pulled the pre-sprouted ranunculus out of this tray, but I found a bunch of little babies. So I'm just gonna actually leave it right here along with this whole bed of ranunculus and let them come up naturally here. And then I put the ones that had sprouted with leaves in these containers just to kind of give like this mirror effect. I'm hoping they'll just like all bloom together. It'll be really pretty. So that's kind of it for today. I just made plenty of room. Again, those can come out when I bring in my annuals. The whole floor can be used. I can move these empty containers anywhere and use this floor for holding over. Of course, this tray will be gone. All of this corner will be gone. This whole corner will be gone. So there will be plenty of space for me to put flats of annuals when I get them. It is getting so close to like the real springtime. I'm so excited, and this year is going to be super fun because the theme is like carnival, tropical, like, you know, Mexico, Hawaii, hot tropical colors. So we are just gonna go gangbusters with all the like bright pinks and bright oranges and deep reds, and just have a ton of fun, lots of yellows, and just make a super cheerful, multicolored garden this summer. So I'm really excited about that. And I'm also super excited to get all of these garden plants out into the moon garden because I can't wait to see that design get pulled together, because I know it's just going to be so beautiful. But we're ready now to move into the next phase. Like I said, I have a bunch of snapdragons to divide, and then those will come out here for a little bit to get acclimated, and then before they go out into the garden. And then I have a bunch of zinnias and marigolds that will actually end up in, the zinnias will end up in this bed right here, almost all of them. So as soon as the ranunculus is done blooming, then we'll plant the zinnias, and I want those zinnias to be up and ready to go once the ranunculus is done. So we'll get those seeded here in the next week, and yeah, that'll be the end of seeding, and then we just buy all of our annuals, and it'll be time to just enjoy the beauty and the bounty of the garden of this coming season. So if you enjoyed this video, I hope that you're celebrating your life, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.